Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You're here live on Co-working Live with Red Worldwide, and we are so excited that you're here with us today because today is Smarter Start Bootcamp Day, and we are starting a new series, and this is going to be so exciting. It's a 10-session series this time, and we're going to be working on building a business that lasts. How do we lay a foundation for that? And what are the tools and the strategies that we need to use to be able to put things together in a way that makes sense? And so we are very excited to bring this episode to you today because we have been looking at lots of things, and you've kind of put yourselves in a position where if you've been following with us along on Mondays and you've been positioning yourself so that you have access to this podcast, whether you're watching it live or whether you're seeing it later, you probably have done all the foundational steps so that we could get to this part and put it all together to talk about, building businesses that last. And so today, this is a good podcast for anyone who's a beginner, but it also is a good podcast for people who have been in business a while, because one of the things that we do know is we sometimes need a refresher. We need to be able to understand, what things we are putting in place, to help us as we're building out these companies. And so I am excited, for those of you who are here with us. And I'm getting, if you notice, I'm kind of putting some things together on the side of us. And Javon, if you'll bring up our slides, let's see if we can, there we go. How to build a business that lasts. How do we do this? And what is it that we do to make sure that the company is doing what it's supposed to be doing, as we are moving everything along from the very beginning stages to, the ultimate commitments that we have. And so I think I'm going to be able to pull off doing this video. Let's see. No, not quite ready yet. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into it, because I don't want us to belabor the time, but we want to make sure that we do have the ability to, finish out the entire session today. So as we're, looking at, building out a foundation, we want to focus on having the right mindset. How do we, have the right vision, and what kind of structure do we need, as we're doing this business for our long-term success. And I just am very clear that there is a mindset shift, that needs to take place when you're talking about having a business for long-term success. Some people have in their mind already, when they're starting their companies, that they are, going to be starting a company that they're going to sell. That's going to be their primary focus, having the company get started with the mindset of building out a valuable company that they can 3X or 10X or, 12X, okay, that some people try to do, in the sale. And so let's talk about what those X's mean. In other words, you might have a company that has a valuation of $1 million, but in your heart and mind, you really want to sell it for more than that. And there are some things that you can put in place where your company can have the value that it needs for you to be able to sell for, more than the amount that the company is worth. Okay. And so, having certain things in place where you have the capacity to do that, is going to be key. And when I tell you that, this is something that is possible, it really is possible, but a lot of people, they don't necessarily see it that way. They don't see that things are possible, for them when they are wanting to sell their company for, more than what it is that they're worth, because they don't understand what goes into that valuation, I should say, and what goes into giving you the ability to actually have a business that you can sell for 2 times the value or 3 times the value or 10 times the value. And so we're going to look at having the right mindset and understanding what you need to do so that your company can be valuable enough for you to get that 10x, okay, or that 5x or that 3x. And then also understanding what needs to be in place so that you actually can have a company that's around long enough for you to sell it. Many people, they get started in business and they're not able to, be in business after 5 years. And there are reasons for that, and so we want to avoid those pitfalls so that you can be in a position where your company has some longevity. You can do some succession planning even. So after you may be too old, or maybe you just decided that you are, hit your freedom point and you want to sell the company or pass it down to the next level of managers or pass it down to your children. Whatever your goal is, you will be able to do that if the company is around long enough for you to do that. So let's kind of look at some of these. The first thing is to have the right mindset in order for you to have a long-term success. You want to be able to focus on scale. Okay. When you can focus on scaling your company, you are able to know how to run the company in a position where you have maybe 10 customers and understand what it takes for you to run that company and serve those 10 people and serve them well, so that if your amount of people that you need to serve doubles, you actually have a model for what you need to do to scale that company to be able to serve 20 customers. And then what happens if you get 5 times the amount of customers? What will you need to be doing? What do you have to put in place in order for you to serve 5 times the amount of people that you're serving right now? So when you can focus it on the scale, we talk about Starbucks a lot, in our business. When we're looking at the different case studies and how they had a model, and that model allowed them to be first to market on some things and to also scale the business effectively across the country and then across, international waters. And so when we're looking at companies that have that capacity, McDonald's, you see McDonald's all over the world, and there's a reason, because they had the ability to master the art of scale. They understood what it took to run one McDonald's, and in doing so, they were able to duplicate that at a corporate level, and then they were able to franchise the model where people could purchase the ability for them to run a McDonald's, to own a McDonald's in a particular market that gave them territory where they could offer the McDonald's products and the services and use the brand to build out their company effectively. And they could do it over and over again because McDonald's understood the mastery that needed to go into scaling. And they were able to master the art of scale. And then they were able to sell a franchise that had the scaling process built in. Now, for you as an entrepreneur, maybe you're not looking to build out a franchise, but maybe you know that there has to be something in place for you to be able to scale. And so understanding that this is a need is really important. And over these next 10 sessions, we'll talk about what goes into that. Okay. And then what does it take for you to have the emotional intelligence necessary for you to be able to run a company at the level that we're talking about? Because it's very important for you to position yourself so that the company that you're running has a set vision and core set of values, that leads to not just you being able to be more emotionally intelligent, but the people who are working alongside of you, whether they be contractors, vendors, or employees, and having the right mindset and self-awareness, that's key to leading your business that in a way that is going to outgrow you and outlast you, regardless, thrive without you. Okay. And this is really important. And when you can build that out, you can also model it for the people working with you so that they can do the same. And then, of course, having the independence, I mean, which is really important, and people don't always understand this, but they've got to be able to understand that when you build a business that can thrive without you, no one can take that away. When you have so many dependencies where you're too dependent on a key employee, too dependent on a key supplier, or too dependent on a key customer, then your business may not be around long enough for you to have that sustainability that we've talked about before. And so you want to build one that can thrive without you, not one that depends on you. Okay, that is the goal. Okay, and so what we want to do right now, I'm going to stop and I want to share our video because I think that this is going to give us context about what we're going to be doing over these next few weeks. And, how do we get there? How do we get there? So give me just a second and I'll figure out how do we do this, because this is going to be something new. I've not done this particular type of sharing before, but we're going to make it happen. All right. I normally send these over to our producer, and today we were in a situation where we were waiting for the video to render. Unfortunately, it did not do what we thought we needed to do, but I think we've got it. So let's see. All right. Okay, let's see. Yep, here we go. All right. Okay, Javon, will you help me with the video, please? There we go.
In this the sheer amount of work can feel overwhelming. But here's the truth most entrepreneurs don't talk about. Building a business that lasts requires more than just hustle. It requires strategy, vision, and leadership. This episode is for those entrepreneurs and executives who are ready to take their businesses to the next level. You're not here just to survive. You're here to build something bigger than yourself, something that lasts. And that all starts with laying the right foundation. Key concepts we'll dive into. 1. Mindset shift for success. It all begins with your mindset. Too many business owners are stuck in survival mode. They're focused on the day-to-day grind, trying to keep their head above water. But if you want to create a business that scales, you need to think beyond survival. In this episode, we'll explore how successful entrepreneurs shift their mindset from simply getting by to focusing on scaling their business. To thrive, you need to adopt the mindset of a CEO who builds for the long term. This mindset shift is critical to moving from being an operator to being a visionary leader who creates strategies for lasting growth. Remember, the businesses that scale and endure are built by leaders who focus on future value, not just the challenges of today. 2. Emotional intelligence. Self-awareness is essential for leadership. We'll dive deep into the role of emotional intelligence, EQ, in building a successful, lasting business. As a CEO, you need to understand your strengths, weaknesses, and how your decisions affect others. Self-awareness allows you to step back and make strategic decisions for the greater good of the business, not just immediate gains. In leadership, emotional intelligence is often the difference between a company that plateaus and one that thrives. Why? Because emotionally intelligent leaders are adaptable, resilient, and able to motivate and inspire their teams. They're not just thinking about profits. They're thinking about people, culture, and long-term sustainability. 3. Vision beyond profits, defining your legacy. What will your business look like in 10 years? What problems will it be solving for your customers? How will your industry be different because your business exists? In this episode, we challenge you to think beyond the here and now. Vision is about defining your long-term impact. It's not just about making money, though that's certainly important. It's about solving problems, creating value, and building an asset that will outlive you. Drawing from Patience Rose's Built to Pass concepts, we'll explore how to define a vision that inspires action today and creates a roadmap for a business that's built to last. Your vision should guide every decision, big or small, and be the foundation upon which your entire business is built. 4. The CEO's role, reducing dependency on yourself. Here's a hard truth. If your business can't run without you, it's not scalable. In this episode, we'll uncover the importance of transitioning from operator to strategist. You, as the CEO, need to delegate, automate, and build systems that reduce dependency on your presence. We'll introduce concepts from John Warrillow's Built to Sell, focusing on how you can make your business independent of you. Think about the companies that thrive. They have strong systems and processes that keep the business running smoothly, whether the CEO is in the office or on vacation. That is the level of independence you should be aiming for. When you build systems that work without you, you create the freedom to focus on growth and strategy. 5. The lean startup approach. Build, measure, learn. Eric Ries's lean startup method is a game changer for businesses that want to innovate without the risk of overinvesting in untested ideas. In this episode, we'll guide you through the build, measure, learn cycle, focusing on creating a minimum viable product, MVP, to test your ideas in the real world. Perfectionism kills progress. Instead of trying to get everything right from the start, the lean startup approach encourages you to get your product in front of customers as quickly as possible, learn from their feedback, and iterate. Flexibility is your greatest asset. The faster you can adapt, the better positioned you'll be to capitalize on market opportunities and avoid costly mistakes. 6. Scalability. Future-proof your systems, people, and technology. Finally, we'll discuss scalability. It's not enough to build a business that works today. You need to think about how your business will function when it's 10x bigger. Are your systems prepared to scale? Are your people ready to lead at a higher level? Is your technology capable of supporting rapid growth? We'll show you how to future-proof your business by creating scalable systems and ensuring your team is equipped for the challenges of tomorrow. Scalability isn't an afterthought. It needs to be baked into your business model from the very beginning. Key takeaways for episode 1. Mindset shift for success. Stop thinking about survival. Start thinking about how to scale. Emotional intelligence. Lead with self-awareness and empathy to guide your business into long-term success. Vision beyond profit. Define your legacy and build a business that solves problems far into the future. CEO's role. Reduce your business's dependency on you. Automate, delegate, and build systems that allow your business to run smoothly without your direct involvement. Lean startup approach. Build, measure, and learn. Use an MVP to stay flexible and adapt quickly. Scalability. Plan for growth from day one. Your systems, people, and technology must be ready to scale. This episode is packed with actionable insights designed to help you create a business that doesn't just survive, it thrives for generations.
So one of the things that, we really want to get you to really see, when we're talking about building out a company that lasts, and we want it to last, of course, beyond you, but we want you to be focused on, what it is that you can do as a business owner to ensure, that this business is doing what you need it to do. So, Javon, if you'll bring our slides back up. We're going to really talk about the power of vision. How do you think beyond profits? See if we can, there we go. So, when we're talking about the power of vision, one of the first things we have to be able to do is define our legacy. A great vision goes beyond quarterly profits. I mean, it's not just looking at our bottom line, or for that matter, looking at our top line revenue. It's what it is that defines your legacy. Okay. So, when we're looking at the vision for what we're going to be doing 5 years from now or 10 years from now, how are we serving? What is it that we do to make sure that our process and our profits don't, become the most focused on items, but instead we're looking at people over profits and people over process, people over profits. Okay. Is that's kind of what our focus is. How do we get people to think beyond the profit? And so one of the things that we have to, be able to understand is that, when we are putting our vision out there, people are going to be seeing things through our eyes. And so when we share our vision with them, we're giving them the ability to, begin to think as we think, or see how we think so they can adapt to what it is that, the company's culture is saying and doing. And then we have to be able to solve future problems. Consider what problems our business will solve in 10 years. We sometimes they're so short-sighted and we're only looking at the problems that we solve today. And so I will tell you that if you can, really push your thought process to solve the problems of people for tomorrow, and then every tomorrow after that for the next 10 years, then you can actually help people to think again beyond the profits of the company. And then you want to build a lasting asset. When you are able to see your company as an asset and understand that you're building an asset that will begin to live beyond you, then what you do today, really does become a process of, everything that it embodies, everything that you are, planning for. Okay. Some of what we, look at when we're thinking about that, value amplification. In other words, looking at our business as an asset comes to mind. And the first thing is the mindset, seeing the business as an asset, not just a source of income. Then you treat it differently. You're not treating it just as a place that you go to, to make money, or you don't see your customers with dollar signs on their heads. Okay. You're thinking of, okay, this business is valuable in this community. We offer something, that others may not be offering. And the way we do it does bring us customers, because the excellence with which we serve, the manner in which we are, giving, to our customers, the best in the industry of what we are doing, gives them the ability to choose us over others. And you hear me say that often, and I will continue to say it, that you will often be in a position where you are the choice above others when you choose to serve with them in mind. Okay, how do you create value? Well, you want to make sure that you're focusing on value, whether you're there or not, and so what that does is that gives you the ability to train others. Okay, having the TVR, having something in your business that is teachable, valuable, and repeatable, and then training other people to actually view these assets within the business, which is also an asset, as important. Okay, every scalable process that you have, sustainable practice, or everything that you're doing in the company that will be there to make sure that your company is creating a product or a service that others really will choose, above some other products that might be similar out there, is going to be key. And so having those thoughts, in your mind, it's like, okay, I got to create value. I got to create value. When you have that in the mind, you're always thinking about what problem am I solving for my customer? All right. And I always would tell people that the way that I started several of the companies that I've started is I always think about what problem can I solve for myself first. And once I'm able to solve that problem for myself, how can I now replicate that process for the customer? Okay. You've got to be able to have the empathy map working really, really well in your company, where you're able to map out what the customer needs, putting yourself in their shoes so that you can serve them in a way that you know is going to be beneficial and that they will be able to, want to have your services forever if they can. Okay. And then some key aspects: prioritizing operational independence, scalable systems, and high customer loyalty will position you, so that the value amplification for your company is there. Always presenting the company as a company of value and with the services of value, and having customers who are the reason why you provide those services, of course, being the primary value in the company. Okay, so what is the CEO's role in building value? Well, let's look at it this way. When the CEO is operating, in such a way that they have repeated systems that they can teach others, these are valuable processes, and these things are going to be there for their customers in a way that helps them to, know that even if the CEO is not physically present on the premises, they're still going to get the same level of service. They're still going to be able to buy products that are going to be the same as they were if the CEO were there. They'll be packaged the same. They'll be presented the same. They will receive the same level of service, from the front door to the back door. And so this is really important, that because this does help to reduce the dependency on you when you have a company that functions that way. Okay. And then when you can focus on strategy, when your focus is on the strategy of the company rather than the day-to-day operations, you're able to build scalable businesses. You can have that business that looks the same, whether you're at store number 1 or store number 21. You don't have to concern yourself with, your business looking different when you're selling online and you're selling in the store, because you focused on the strategies necessary to make sure that, again, from door to door, front to back, from online to phone services, everything is functioning at the same level. It maintains the company's culture, the company's brand, the company's level of service. Okay. And then you want to delegate and systemize. When you can delegate, automate, and systemize the key processes, those standard operating procedures, for the independent operation of your company, it helps you to build a more valuable company. And again, a company that people will choose over other companies. So, how can we look at this from a standpoint of, understanding our startup approach to growth? Okay. What is our startup approach? What is it that we're doing that will cause people to want to participate in the company? Well, we have to learn how to build, measure, and learn. This is from Eric Rice's book, The Lean Startup. And one of the things that we have learned in reading this book and utilizing it as a part of our strategy that we teach, is that we have to base our growth strategy on market feedback. When we are not able to really understand our concepts, because of the fact that we don't, have the feedback necessary for, us to be able to learn, we can't make our services and our products better. So we have to be able to build, measure, in other words, get the business intelligence that we talk about so frequently, understand, what it is that's being done and what we need to do better, to make the company everything it needs to be. These are very, very important things. Okay. And then once we've learned about those things, we can create, our minimum viable products, and, starting small with one MVP, testing it and getting that real world feedback so that we can iterate and, have a better product, with our next run, our next launch. And so we have to be able to embrace flexibility, because when we embrace flexibility, we can prioritize it and adapt, to with the intelligence that we receive from everyone who we've been collecting the feedback from. And now we, are able to have a product that serves people better. And we prioritize flexibility and adaptability over perfection. Pushing a product out, or a service out, and having in our mind the thought that it has to be perfect can really be detrimental to what it is that you're trying to do. But being in a position where you're getting the feedback and you're constantly iterating, positions you so that you can adapt the product to the needs of your customers, and now it can better serve everyone. Okay, so how do we build with scalability in mind? Well, we have to start with planning early. Okay, I'm just telling you now, you don't do anything well without a plan. So you got to think about scalability from the beginning. Don't wait until you're overwhelmed, okay? Because now you just have to scale because you can't serve everyone at that location. So you've got to build a second one. No, you plan with the scalability in mind. You say we can serve 100 people well in this location, or in this way, or in this particular channel, before you'll have to, expand to another channel, or expand to another location, or expand, by adding more, services, or expand by adding more people. One of the things that you can do when you have the benefit of planning early is you can have phases. And in those phases, exactly how you're going to bring on your next group of people to help you do what you do and to do it better. Then you have to be able to future-proof your design. When you're, designing your operations to work at the larger scale, the 10x size, then you can actually grow into that very, very well, because now you're not just packed in and focused in on just being able to serve for this particular set of clients in this particular year. It's future-proofed for, the amount of people, future-proofed for conditions, future-proofed for market tolerance, okay, and risk, and so having the ability to take the step back and see what this could look like in 5 years, 10 years, or what this can look like in, at 5 times the amount of people, or for that matter, what this could look like in different markets, gives you the ability to be prepared to, move forward no matter what's happening in the market or in the industry. Okay. And how do you prepare for growth? This is going to be key, because when you're building with scalability in mind, you got to be able to have systems in place, have people in place, or at least have a plan for how you're going to bring on more people if necessary to be able to serve your clients. And how do you have the right technologies? We're using a certain set of technologies right now that's appropriate for the way that we serve people today. However, we already have our sights set up on what we're doing next, and trust and believe we've got a team there that is building this out, giving us a model for what it is that we'll be able to do when we are no longer able to serve people at the level that we're serving them right now. So you've got to be able to set up systems, people, and technology for the ability to grow rapidly, because sometimes the market outpaces you and you don't know what's coming until you're there. Okay. And so when you have a plan, when you are able to early plan and then future proof and prepare for growth opportunities, that gives you the ability to scale. Okay. Now, we've got some key takeaways today. We kind of talked about, in our video, a few things that we were going to learn, and we've kind of just barely grazed the, the corner of these things. But I really want you to understand that we got to be thinking about the fact that mindset matters. It really does. When we have, a high emotional intelligence, it's essential for our long-term leadership, and we can, understand how do we best deal with people when we are able to have the mindset of the entrepreneur that's building out a company to last. When we've got vision, okay, and we're thinking beyond our short-term profits, we are able to build a business that's, lasts beyond us, that lasts, and thrives without us. And that's going to be really, really important, for the amplification of our value, because when we're able to see the company as an asset and not just a job or a source of revenue, then we're going to be doing things with and for the company and the people that we are working with on our teams, our vendors, as well as our customers, that will give them the viewpoint of seeing our company as an asset as well. And then, of course, when we have systems and scalabilities, we're able to use our lean startup principles to test, to learn, and to scale efficiently. And this helps us in everything that we're doing, to make sure that our company is around past 5 years, so that people will be able to enjoy what we are offering them, the services that we, provide, the solutions that we bring, for the long haul. So I wanted to just kind of share the references that this particular 10 session series will be brought to you from. Eric Rice's The Lean Startup is our, one of our books of choice. And he is a key contributor into this session because his concepts of lean methodology, building a minimum viable product, and rapid experimentation and pivoting, okay, based on the customer feedback, is those key principles are what we're going to be, talking about in these in this series. And I want you, if you have the opportunity, to go ahead and get The Lean Startup. The book was actually published in 2011, and the entire title is The Lean Startup: How Today's Entrepreneurs Use Continuous Innovation to Create Radically Successful Businesses. And it's by Crown Business. And so I'd love for you to be able to grab that, because if you can read it while we're going through this 10 session series, you will have, the reference points and the ability to be able to better apply what we're talking about. We're also going to be using John Warrillow's book, a mentor, friend of mine, who I received some tremendously valuable training from, in the Value Builder System. Built to Sell is the name of his book, and the Value Builder System is his system that he created. And so his contribution to this particular series is, coming directly from his Value Builder strategies for increasing the value of your company, and preparing businesses for sale or transition, and building a scalable company. The actual book that we're going to be pulling a lot of this from is Built to Sell: Creating a Business That Can Thrive Without You. And he also has a book, The Automatic Customer, and we're going to pull a few plays out of that playbook as well, creating a subscription business in any industry. Okay. And then, of course, we'll be pulling some things from one of my books called Built to Pass: Constructing a Company That Lives Beyond You. From that book, we'll be, talking about succession planning strategies, focusing on creating a lasting legacy through business transformation and leadership development and asset protection. So those are some of the things that we'll be pulling from my book. And my book was written in 2023. This particular one, Built to Pass: Constructing a Company That Lives Beyond You, published by Kingdom's Perspective Publishing. Okay. And then lastly, we'll be using Daniel Goleman's Emotional Intelligence. From his book, we are going to be drawing out the concepts of emotional intelligence and leadership, communication, communication and relationship management, particularly in guiding teams through growth and transition phases. And so we do want you, if you have an opportunity, to grab these works, because we do believe that they will be pivotal in helping you understand everything that you need to understand to be able to put all of this that we have been talking about into action right away. Well, this has been Dr. Patience Jackson Rose, and we are so excited that you have been with us today for our Smarter Start Bootcamp, and on our episode 1 of this series of Building a Company That Lasts. We look forward to seeing you again next time.